Today we'll explain why React has mother issues, why Flutter is just a clone, and why jQuery is the only one who actually knows how to drive a car. By the end, you will know exactly what kind of psychological breakdown you're signing up for in your next job. Let's start with level 1. Asuka Langley Soryu as React. Asuka represents React because she is popular, high performance, and incredibly loud about being the best at everything she does. Just like Asuka herself, React is the industry leader and constantly reminds you of that fact. It genuinely believes that every other framework, or every other waifu if you will, is inferior trash that doesn't deserve your attention. But here is where it gets real. React has what we might call mother issues. It relies heavily on something called a virtual DOM, which is essentially a fake reality that it needs to function properly. This mirrors Asuka's own psychological struggles with perception versus reality. React is also extremely high maintenance. If you don't handle her use effect hooks exactly right, with perfect precision, she enters an infinite render loop. This is essentially a mental breakdown that crashes your entire browser. Imagine Asuka shouting at you through the console logs asking if you are stupid because you cannot just mutate state directly. Choose this path if you want to be a leader, but enjoy constant anxiety. Level 2. Rei Ayanami as Flutter. Rei represents Flutter because she feels artificial, manufactured by a massive corporation, and yet somehow runs everywhere you need her to. Flutter was created by Google, which in this metaphor is Nerve, designed to be the perfect universal soldier. Just like Rei has clones throughout the series, Flutter allows you to maintain one single codebase and clone it effortlessly to iOS, Android, and web platforms. But Flutter has what we might call an AT field of its own. It draws every single pixel itself using the Skia engine, completely ignoring the native system components around it. It puts up a barrier between itself and the operating system, much like Rei's emotional barriers. The personality is fitting too. Flutter feels somewhat alien compared to native development, but it gets the job done with zero emotion, zero complaints, and perfect efficiency. Level 3. Misato Katsuragi as jQuery. Misato represents jQuery because she is a bit older, admittedly messy, drinks too much, but still carries the entire team when it really matters. Her apartment in the show is full of beer cans, just like your legacy jQuery code is full of $signs and nested parents. It is absolute spaghetti code, but somehow it works when you need it to. Gen Z developers roast her constantly for being outdated and irrelevant, but she was winning wars and building the internet before React was even born. She has the experience that matters. When all the fancy modern frameworks fail you, when everything breaks down, you call Misato. You call jQuery to hack a quick fix directly into the DOM and save the day. Choose this if you want job security, because just like Misato's beat-up Renault, this code runs on legacy engines that nothing else can touch. Level 4. Ritsuko Akagi as Angular. Ritsuko represents Angular because she is professional, strict, incredibly opinionated, and metaphorically wears a lab coat to work every single day. Ritsuko runs the Meiji supercomputer, and Angular runs bank software and government applications. Neither has any time whatsoever for your fun little side projects. Angular demands strict typing. It demands TypeScript. It demands dependency injection. It has a strict set of rules and architectural patterns. And if you break them, it will look at you with cold disgust, just like Ritsuko would. But beneath the professional surface, Ritsuko is incredibly complex and carrying a lot of emotional baggage. Similarly, Angular carries a lot of technical baggage in the form of RxJS observables and complex state management patterns. Choose this if you enjoy pain, strict rules, and a high salary. Level 5. Maya Ibuki as Tailwind CSS. Maya represents Tailwind because she is trendy, helpful, cheerful, and absolutely terrified of any conflict. She types furiously on her keyboard to make sure the synchronization ratio is good for the actual pilots. Tailwind is a utility framework there to help the big frameworks look good and function properly. She represents modern and clean aesthetics. Maya hates the gore and messiness of traditional CSS files and prefers everything to be atomic, utility-based, and inline. You can almost hear her calling out Senpai as she idolizes Ritsuko, or in this case, gets paired with heavy backend frameworks to make them look presentable. Level 6. Hikari Horaki as Django. Hikari, the class representative, represents Django, a framework that is responsible, organized, rules-heavy, and brings a packed lunch to school every day. Django is famous for being batteries included. Hikari is the responsible one who cooks. Django is the framework that comes with everything pre-packed: authentication, admin panels, and ORM, all ready to go. As the class rep, she enforces structure. Django enforces the MVT architecture pattern. She makes sure everyone is behaving according to the rules. In a world full of crazy robot pilots and chaotic JavaScript frameworks, Hikari represents normalcy. She's just a normal, reliable Python framework trying to live a quiet, structured life. Level 7. Yui Ikari as Next.js. Yui represents Next.js, and this comparison is both powerful and unsettling. She is the ghost in the machine, the framework that wraps around everything, omnipresent and controlling. Yui's soul is absorbed into Unit 01, becoming one with the Eva itself. Next.js absorbs React completely, wrapping around it and becoming inseparable from it. You cannot use Next.js without React, just as Yui lives inside the Eva. She isn't just a framework. She is the full-stack environment controlling both the front end and the back end. But when Next.js goes berserk, usually because of hydration errors or mismatched server and client rendering, the system goes absolutely crazy. Your console fills with cryptic error messages, and the framework takes control away from you completely. You are left watching helplessly as it does whatever it wants. So you have a decision to make, but remember this: every framework is just like dating. They all promise to make your life easier, and they all come with issues you didn't know about until you were too deep to back out.